Welcome to the Men Who Will podcast. Today's episode, new friends, question mark, or no new friends, question mark.
While being in a relationship.
While being in a relationship.
Finesse, I know you've been in relationships where you or your girl has had friends while being in a relationship. So how do you feel where your girlfriend has a friend of the opposite sex? And do you agree with it or nah?
Well, I try not to be a hypocrite. So yeah, I don't mind. I really don't mind. Like I'm known as a friendly guy, or that's what some people call friendly. Gregarious, a people person, if you will. And that don't stop because I'm in a relationship, and I feel like I shouldn't have double standards. So for me, I don't mind if she has a friend, a guy friend, as long as it's platonic. And so I pause for a second because I think about the best friend thing. Because all right, I know some homegirls. What up, homegirls? Who have guy best friends, and that's cool because I used to have girl best friends too, and I got like 2 left. So again, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
You know what? Before you go on, I got a question to ask. And it's so funny that you mentioned the best friend thing because whenever you talk to a girl or when you have conversations about relationships, people always say that you should get married to your best friend. Am I correct?
Yes, that's what they say, and I am a believer in that. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird when you have a friend or you have a girlfriend and she has a best friend of the opposite sex that is just platonic.
Who is their best friend?
That's what I just said.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It can be. I don't know. Like, see, when we were younger, all of this stuff was cool. But right now, not saying that marriage comes with an age, but because of where we happen to be in life and the ages we happen to be, I do feel that your best friend should be the person that you're marrying. If you have a best friend of the same sex, fine. But if it's like the opposite sex, it is a little weird because then where do you
skeptical, right?
Yeah, because, where do you draw the boundaries? Where do you say, all right, now these are things because I am with my spouse that I do not talk to my best friend about. And that kind of stuff has to be discussed or come up because obviously your spouse is going to want a certain level of privacy because obviously you're used to sharing everything with your best friend. And it can get complicated. But go ahead, what were you gonna say?
Well, what I was gonna say, it's not even that the privacy thing. It's not about keeping everything in the wraps and keeping everything between you and your husband, your partner. But if I'm in a relationship with a girl and she has a best friend that is of the opposite sex, where do I stand? Where do I fit in? Am I just your husband? Am I
just your husband?
Because I want you to be able to talk to me about everything. Word. I want to be that best friend that you're looking for, and I do not want to have to fight for that spot. And it would be kind of wrong for me to actually kick him out and say, well, he doesn't deserve that spot. That spot should belong to me. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if he's your best friend, where do I stand in this relationship? Because I feel as I should be all of the above. Your husband, your best friend. And that is so tricky now that I think about it. Because if it's really a girl, it's okay, right? If it's a girl that's your best friend, Well, that's fine, you know. But I still feel like I should. But I guess everybody's allowed a guy and girl best friend now.
It really is tricky because again, it's like, what, man, like for me, a best friend that is a guy that could be. I think that you should marry your best friend. That's how I feel about it. I feel like your number one, your first friend should be God, of course. That's what I feel. And then if you are a married person, your best friend should be your spouse. If you're a girl, then yeah, you have a close girlfriend. And if you're a guy, you have a close guy friend, and then whatever in whatever order. But for it to be of the opposite sex while you're married, it's like, so like you, the way you worded it first. So your friend, your husband is just your husband, but
Hmm.
then you have this other great best guy friend, like
Where you guys share everything.
right, right. If y'all are not, if this marriage is not just based on, well, we got married because of sex or whatever, if y'all got married because of friendship, so, like, because y'all actually enjoy each other's company and the relationship with that person. So essentially, if you're doing things the right way, you had two friends that are guys, talking from the girl standpoint, you had two friends that are guys. One was a little bit better of a friend to you than the other one, but you married the lesser friend.
Hmm.
And now you still have this good guy friend. Might as well just marry the best guy friend right there. That's how I look at it, at least. Or
Yeah.
that's one of the levels I'm looking at it with. Um,
Oh, it could just depend on looks. Like, well, he's my best friend. He has everything, but he doesn't work out. He's not sexy. He doesn't have the
no,
body that I'm looking for. Is it wrong for me to think of girls like that?
no, women wouldn't do that.
They
Nah,
wouldn't. Damn,
nah.
I'm so wrong.
Nah, but
Anyways.
it's funny because I was actually chilling with some ladies yesterday. And one of them did mention that she has a best friend who's a guy, and all of them, everybody in her life tells her that the two of them should just hook up, should get together, should make, I guess become girlfriend, boyfriend, or later on marriage. But she says she is nowhere near feeling him like that.
And the
Um,
reason why?
so she didn't go into too many details, but she did say that there were things about him that they're good friends, they're best friends, but at the same time, there are things that she sees him do with or to other women that she would not put up with in a relationship. And it's not for her to correct him because she figures he if those chicks are allowing him to do that, then hey, that's their prerogative. Obviously they're allowing themselves to be in that situation. So she didn't really go into details. I didn't really care to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was an interesting situation because it's like, all right, well, he is your best friend, but y'all say y'all not feeling each other, and she had no reason to lie to me. It wasn't like I was trying to mac or anything. I was just hanging out with her.
Yeah. I have so many questions to ask, but I guess we'll leave that. We'll leave that for
Oh,
another
you can
day.
ask questions if you want.
Well, I guess my first question is why, I guess, if he's not in a relationship and he's doing other things to women, who's to say that he won't change once he's involved in a relationship?
Well, now that I think about it, so she is single and he is her best friend who's in a relationship with a girl.
Oh, so he is in a relationship.
Right. So maybe that
Okay.
does change things, but
Yes, it does.
but at the same time, I mean, she's like, again, I wasn't like she's my girlfriend trying to explain it to me. Like she has no allegiance to me. It's just some girl who I was chilling with, and she was saying that everyone says that they should get together, but she doesn't see him that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting, but I guess those are probably the more extreme levels, right? Like, how do I feel about a girl who has a best friend that's a guy versus how do I feel about a girl who has guy friends is two different things.
Well, for sure, if she has a lot of guy friends, I well, it's weird.
That a red flag for you? A lot of guy friends?
A lot of guy friends is almost a red flag for me. Yeah, I would have to say it's 80% a red flag for me.
80% red. What is that? An orange? A hot orange?
That's like a high orange. No, I think about it. I don't think it's an issue. It depends on who the chick is, to be honest with you.
Right,
At the end
right.
of the day, it all depends on who the chick is. If she's a girl who deserves my trust, and I feel like she's a trustworthy worthy type of girl, I don't think I would mind it at all. As a young rebel,
Hmm.
as a little high school rebel, I would think there's something wrong with that. I would automatically, whenever I see a girl with plenty of guy friends, the first thought that comes to run into my head is, man, like she must be a whore, or and this is young me talking, right?
Right, right.
But as I get older, I guess it all depends on the matter of trust. Your trust level. If you don't even trust the girl, I guess you shouldn't even be in a relationship with her. But if I'm
Mm.
in a relationship with a girl that has plenty, well, guy friends, and depending on who she is, I feel like I could trust her, and our trust level is there, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just because
Hmm.
I don't want to stun my relationships as well, right? So
Right.
if she has guy friends and I'm not okay with that, I don't want it to get to a point where I want to hang out with my girlfriends and and it is causing an argument in the relationship where it starts this big issue of, well, you can't hang out with this, that, and the person, this, that, and the third, and we just start resenting each other because of that.
Hmm.
So if I trust her, if she has guy friends, it's okay as long as we set boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, I feel you. For me, again, I guess, yeah, it does depend on what, right? So for us, this quadrant that we're attacking right now is me or you with our girlfriend who has a guy friend.
Hmm.
So the best friend thing is a sticky situation. I guess it's case by case again. Uh, for me personally, where I am in my life, I want to be my girl's best friend. That's where I am in my life.
True.
I feel like that's the last, because after that, to me, there's no new best friends after her. Um, but if she has guy friends, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that as long as again there are certain boundaries drawn, right?
Hmm.
Like, hey, what is the extent of your relationship? Are y'all friends now, but y'all used to date in the past?
Mm.
That'll probably be a red flag. Are
Yeah,
y'all
as
almost was there, but y'all just didn't quite make it because I came into the mix, and maybe he's waiting in line for his time to shine. I don't know.
or is she dating you just to make him jealous, to make him realize that, hey, I could pull dudes too. Girls will do some stuff like that.
Well,
Well, it's
that's
not
not the
just
case.
girls. Let me stop. Everybody will do some stuff like that. People will jump into a relationship just to make some other person jealous, just to get
I
their
would
attention.
never.
You would never.
For sure.
Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, as long as you tell me, like, as long as like the best friend thing is to me, that's a little for the ages we are now and for the areas of life we are now. It's a little. I would look at it and just wonder what that best friendship entails.
Mm-hmm.
Will I ever be your best friend, or will I always be your husband? Because I do believe that women in relationship with men should have girlfriends that they could go to and talk to about anything.
Yeah, for sure. You need a support system in any relationship, whether it be your parents or,
Right.
just somebody else. But before
But
you go
another,
on,
yeah.
if you're in a relationship and you have friends, I definitely think it's better to have friends that are in the same place as you are. I think it's better. Not saying, that's the standard and that's like what you should go for. Of course, you're gonna have friends that are single, but I think the people that are your advisors or should be in people that are in relationships as well, because you guys could actually relate and understand where you guys are coming from. Do
Hmm.
you agree or not? Like,
Yeah.
I understand if I have friends that are single, if I have guy friends that are single, and I come up to them like, man, depending on who they are, they might be like, yo, let's go out, or make me do something that later on I might regret, right? Whereas, if I got a guy friend that's in a relationship, he might talk some sense into me, like, hey, this is actually going on in my relationships as well, and this is how I handle it, and this is the way you should handle it, maybe, and go on from there.
Yeah.
And
What's
same,
the
like, is it if your friend is of the opposite sex as well. If you do have a girlfriend and you're a guy that's in a relationship, I think your opposite friend should be in a relationship as well. Just because those boundaries don't really have to be said to be set. You guys already understand that you both are in a relationship, and I'm not saying you guys should go behind your partner's back and talk about them to your best friend or your friends and say,
right?
well, this is how my girlfriend is acting in this relationship, and her coming to you saying, well, this is how my boyfriend is acting in the relationship. I'm just saying, if you guys are having issues and you do have a friend to talk to, there's nothing wrong with talking to that friend as long as you're not bashing your partner.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. All right. So for me, again, as long as like if she has some homies, some guy friends, that's cool. I'm cool with it. Again, as long as boundaries are drawn, I'll be super straight with it. But if it's a dude who been laying in the cut trying to mac you for years, I ain't with it. If it's a dude who I know I could feel that he's trying to get his mac on, or he playing that slow game, I ain't with it at all. You
I
know,
ain't with
um,
it. I
I
ain't
ain't
with
with
it.
it, and it's interesting because it makes me want to bring up another part that is personal. Um, so I've dated a few different women. Let's put it that way. And so I had a girlfriend
Hmm.
who one of her best friends was a girl, but this girl was gay.
Hmm.
Exactly. So that brought an interesting perspective because it's like, all right, if you're confiding in this chick who is not in her own personal life practicing a healthy a healthy relationship with a man. In fact, whether she's single, she wasn't single at the time, the best friend that is, she was in a relationship with another girl. But both ways, it could really screw up what you have going on, at least in my situation, I would say, because if that's the person who you're running to and confiding with, I mean, they're even if they don't have, and it's not to say that, oh, all women who are gay have something against men. That's not what I'm saying
Hmm.
either. But at the same time, they don't subscribe to the kind of relationship that you're trying to build, a man and a woman. Well, what is their advice going to really be to their homegirl? Like you and your spouse, like where is it coming from based on what you and your girlfriend are doing? Like it's
Exactly.
two women in a relationship, so there's no masculine talk, there's no testosterone versus or in conjunction with um feminine talk. Like where is the advice coming from? And then not even to not even mentioning the spiritual implications. If that is your best friend who we're trying to build something spiritual, but that's what your best friend is practicing in, and that's who maybe you confide in. On the surface it's like, oh well, her best friend is another girl, but at the same time that other girl doesn't believe in what you guys are trying to build for herself. So what
Hmm.
kind of advice is she giving you concerning relationships? Things that make you say,
Of course. And, not to say anything, but who's to say that your friend is not trying to get something else going on, right?
her
Like,
friend, right? The girl, the other girl,
oh,
right?
that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Like, trying to get like a three-way going or anything like that. It's to where she's trying to sabotage your relationship with your man, Nobody
right,
nobody knows.
right.
I mean,
And
people are people. One thing that I go by is if I could think it, somebody out there is doing it. So, I definitely give you the benefit of the doubt, but I don't put it past anybody to do something like that, or put it past anybody to do something that I'm thinking of.
Hmm. Right. Well, and that, of course, is probably a rarer situation. Maybe, maybe not. People probably out there like that was me too. But yeah, I mean, that was the case, and obviously, I mean, it wasn't like that was the reason that the relationship ended, or maybe that was a straw. But it's definitely something to think about and something to consider. But now let's go to the other quadrant. So we've been splitting this up into quadrants, and that probably got a bit
Hmm.
complicated. So myself, finesse, yourself, rebel. What about either you or I in a relationship with your girlfriend, but now we have a home girl? Maybe she's not in a relationship. How you feel about that?
Also,
Home
we
girl,
have a
best
home girl,
friend.
but
Maybe
we're
there's
in a
differences.
relationship. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
well, I'm not the one to burn down any bridges, unless I need to. The same way that I feel about a girl, the same way that I feel like she should have friends if we trust each other, I would hope she felt the same way about me as well. I would hope for her to have that level of trust in me to where I could have a friend that is a girl and trust me not to do anything with her, or trust that our friendship is just that and nothing else. Now I'm really gonna contradict myself, but if I'm in a relationship where
Hmm.
I have a girlfriend and then, there's a friend that it's real close, a homegirl that's real close, I think you should definitely break it off. Now that I think about it, because you can't control what somebody else does, right? Even though I know myself and I know certain things that I won't do and that certain things that I won't allow, but just because I know myself doesn't mean that that person might not try something to ruin my relationship with the person that I care
Yeah.
for.
Well, just to clarify real quick, when you say you should break it off with this chick, you're referring to a close homegirl who you have certain histories with, or what are you saying?
Okay, so if it's just a homegirl, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The trust thing is that should definitely be there. I put it out for anybody that gets in a relationship. Before you jump in a relationship, make sure they're a good friend first of all, and make sure you have some trust there. If you don't trust them, then that's a red flag right away.
Hmm.
So if it's a homegirl, yeah, for sure. Like I would hope my girl would have a certain level of trust where it's okay. So I don't think there should be anything wrong with it, because outside my relationship, I would hope to have a life as well. So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with just having a regular homegirl. What I'm saying is, if it's a girl that, even though you guys might not have history, but you feel kind of like with the story that you were laying out earlier, where everybody's like, "Oh man, you guys should get together," or if
Hmm.
everybody's talking about it, I think that should be cut off. Yeah, yeah. Even though you might not feel
Mm.
some way and you might not see each other that way, I definitely think that should be cut off, because that's all sipping into your subconscious right there. You're gonna
Mm.
reach a point maybe, and I don't want to say that's a definite, but you might reach a point where both of y'all start thinking about it. Well, like, well, we've known each other for a while, and I don't see any reason why. And you start contemplating that playing with that idea of getting together. And so
Brown sugar.
I think, yeah. So I definitely think, if you're in a relationship, cut that off right away. Because even while in a relationship, if everybody's already talking about it, you might think of you might be in a relationship with a girl where she might do something that you don't like, and then you start thinking about your friend, or as a guy, and you're like, damn, like even though she's not my girl, but she would never do something like that just because she know me so well, kind of thing.
Usher, you make me want to leave the one I'm with and start a new relationship with you.
You know.
Oh man.
So
Okay. All
what
right.
what are your thoughts on that?
Dang. So it's funny because I'm thinking about it on the opposite side. Like, if they're plutonic, well, so I'm with you some of it, but not as quick. So for me, I mean, if they're plutonic, I mean, if they said, "Hey, there is no history like that. We've never even explored it, even though other people have said that we should because we're so close." Maybe I'd want to know why and how y'all became so close. But if there's no history, like, somebody did the Valentine's Day thing, which I do not celebrate. But yeah, like if as long as it was nothing like, oh, we were each other's Valentine's Day, or oh, we tried something, or oh, there was this one night. As long as it's nothing like that, I probably would be somewhat lenient. But again, as I move to the stages in life that I'm moving in, and I start considering things like settling down and getting married and stuff like that, to me, it would be kind of weird for my wife, let's put it that way, my wife, to have a best friend who is a man who is not me. What? So because that's time, the quality time that you're spending, I guess, kindling and keeping that best friendship alive should be time that you and I should be building that intimacy. Because a best friendship has certain levels of intimacy, not necessarily sexual or anything like that, but we should be building that intimacy. Like, how do you have the energy to be splitting that intimacy with another man when you're in a relationship with this man? Huh. So for me, yeah, at the end of the day, moving in the direction towards marriage, yeah, for sure. And it's funny because now I want to read a poem.
Jeez. Hit them with the bars, Finesse.
Hit them with the bars. So I have a poem. So this will nicely segue into the third quadrant and then the final point. So the third quadrant is you or myself, us guys, we are the friend to a girl who has a man. Now, this poem that I wrote, it was inspired by a chick who, it was kind of my fault. She was already married. I was younger at the time. Here we go. Cue that music. Cue that music. Yeah, she was married at the time. Where is it? Okay, so fittingly enough, I named it No New Friends, which will segue into some other things with that. But yeah, so she was already married when I met her.
Mm-hmm.
And just to paint the situation, well, I don't want to really put her out there like that. I mean, we never did anything like that.
You don't have to get into any specific details, but
right. But let's just put it. So this is
if you want to drop a couple.
No, I'm gonna drop the bars for sure. I don't have to describe her situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
But so the name of the poem is No New Friends. So you said, "Don't forget me," but the irony is you did exactly that to me. I guess I should have seen it coming. You are half my reason I say no to new girlfriends. When I was young, Steve said no more girls as friends, and I didn't agree. I was too naive, thinking I could be platonic, not realizing that you being married put a date on what we had, a date my heart wasn't ready for. If you're not single and I'm not feeling you, then your number getting will be no more.
That's
Mic
it?
drop.
That was
Mic
dope.
drop. Words. So just to break that down. So that was a situation where it's funny because I moved out here to New York and we was cool. I mean, she'd been married. In fact, I met her married. So that was really my fault probably. And we was cool. We had good conversation. Anyways, again, not going to get into the details of her situation. I was about to describe the personality of her husband, but I'd rather not. I mean, they're cool, but whatever. But her and I, because of the kind of personality she has, it's kind of like the personality I have, very gregarious, outgoing, a people person. So we got along well and we talked about different situations, so we'd have great conversations together. So when I moved to New York, or when I was moving to New York, she would always say, "Oh, don't forget about me. Don't forget about the little people, all that kind of stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And the irony is, like, now she forgot about me, and I was hurt. But it's like, why are you hurt though? It's not that you shouldn't be hurt, because emotions are emotions, but at the same time, she has the right to do what she did, because you got to preserve and protect the corners of your marriage. Here I am. I'm a single dude. Maybe, well, I was in a relationship when I moved to New York, but even when you met me, I was single. So I could understand looking at it from the inside out, or looking at her husband's point of view. How how can you be getting close to this dude? Like, you got a husband. That should be like your good guy friend. So
Yeah.
because of going through that situation, was that?
No, I was gonna say, well, this goes exactly back to the intimacy level that you were talking about being in a relationship. You catching emotions even though you guys are just friends.
Right. And it's funny because it's not like I was waiting in the cut to marry her or wait till she got divorced. It was nothing like that. Um, but we was just cool, and I guess there was a date on how cool and close we could be, because again, she has a husband. You know what I mean? So that time that she's spending with me on the phone or whatever, she should be building with her husband. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Uh, so that was that part. In terms of, so Steve in the poem is Steve Harvey, because Steve Harvey, he's been divorced, and have different relationships. Wrote a book on relationships, regardless of what everyone thinks about it, or a few. But I remember one interview when I was a lot younger, before the stakes were this high. Now we're getting to the settling down stages of our lives.
Do not
So
say that.
the settling down stages,
There's no such thing, man.
I'm getting to the settling down
Your
stage of my
time,
life.
yeah,
I'm older than you, young buck.
your time will soon come.
So before, though, when I was like running free or whatever, I listened to this interview. I'm like, what is he talking about? I got plenty of girlfriends, calling my homegirls my girlfriends. That is, I'm like, what is he talking about? I have plenty of girls, and we're super straight, not realizing how naive I was, because at the time maybe it was okay, but now when you get to the stage in your life where you're trying to settle down and build with one person,
Mm,
it it can make things complicated if you have friends of the opposite sex, depending on what level the relationships or friendships are. Um, and then, yeah, so a date my heart wasn't ready for. Our friendship was dated. It would eventually end because it's just the way it was going to be.
mm,
So at the very end, if you're not single and I'm not feeling you, then your number getting will be no more.
no more.
No more. So yeah, like I used to just kind of get numbers on default. Like, anybody I meet, especially a woman, we talk for, I don't know, a little bit. I probably would ask you for your number if I enjoy your conversation. Whether I was trying to whether I was trying to get in a relationship, or just actually be friends. Like, wow, I think she's cool. Maybe I'll
Mm.
invite her to game night or something.
That's what you
uh,
call it? Oh.
oh, ha, funny guy. Nah, actual game night. But yeah, so that was that. But now I'm at the stage where I'm like, I don't want no. I have too many homegirls to be making new friends. So this brings me to, well, the poem brought me to the third quadrant, but then I'll revisit the no new friends quadrant in a
Mm-hmm.
second. So with that said, so you and myself, Rebel, um, how about us being a friend to a girl or woman who already has a man, or who's about to get a
Now,
man?
I think you know my story with that very, very well.
I might. Enlighten me in any tactful way you would like.
um, both of these girls are now married,
Huh, check
and
that out.
that's the funny thing. Now,
There's a movie like this.
I don't know what happened. Anyways, so me and a certain type of girl. I'm not gonna get into the details of it. We were friends. Everything was going well. Um, we didn't we didn't do anything, but she did mention how she felt about me, and she felt strong, strong, strong way
A
about the
strong
boy.
way, huh? About the young stud, eh?
So, anyways, right? So we were cool, and it was fun. I mean, we had fun together, and that's what I like in a relationship. So I like somebody who's spontaneous in that way. But it was just that, and that's what we had. It was great. It was awesome. But it got to a point where she got in a relationship, and I didn't know how serious it was until one day I gave her a call, and it was one of those things where like she wasn't paying attention to anything I was saying. I gave her a
Hmm.
call. We were on the phone, and she was just like, "Yeah, I'm hanging out with this person," and it was just like, yeah, I gotta go." As soon as that happened, I was like, "Well, I guess our friendship is over then."
Really? So dramatic.
Dude, I read the situation well. So I don't know what happened, but she just stopped talking to me. Like she just stopped talking to me. She just stopped calling me. There was no hanging out. There was like, no, hey, let's go hang out and watch a movie together. There was none of that.
Let's go hang out and watch a movie together. You really think she should have did that?
Um, in the daytime, it's different.
No, because it ain't dark in the daytime in the movie theaters. Got it.
It's different, all right?
We saw a matinee. That's all right, right? I didn't
Night
realize that they had
nighttime indicates something
skylights.
totally different.
I didn't realize they had skylights in movie
I'm
theaters
just
now.
saying, when you step outside and it's still daylight out, you're just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go home. It just kills the mood, which is what you want, especially if you guys are just friends. But if it's night out, you're like, this, it's getting time to go to bed. I need a cuddle buddy.
Nah, I gotta get at you. I gotta come for you anyways. Because how many people done cheated at hotels, coming out the hotels during the daylight? Like, what you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I hope you don't.
I really don't.
Good.
So, after that, she stopped hitting me up, and it was just kind of weird for me. But when all is said and done, I wish it was relayed to me that, hey, we can't keep our friendship going. But I
Mhm.
respected it. So, because I'm a friend and I understand, like, hey, if you found the one and you feel like, well, this is the guy this is your forever, then, I could respect that. I wish we would have talked about it because you kind of just like left me hanging. So, as a friend, if you're truly that girl's friend, I really feel like you should understand that if you're a guy
Step
and
off.
yeah, you don't want to distort that whatever emotion that she has going for this guy. You don't want to be in the way and sabotage it in a way. So you want to kind of give her a space. If this is a guy that she really want to be with, then give her a space. And I definitely think as a friend, as a guy friend who has a girl that's in a relationship, you should definitely respect that, especially if she doesn't want to talk to you anymore, or if she doesn't want to carry on with that relationship that you guys had. And it goes both ways. But yeah, I respected her decision. I didn't. At first, it hurt a little bit because I was like, well, there goes my fun buddy.
Fun,
Because
buddy.
yeah, because for a while, who doesn't like hanging out with a person of the opposite sex? That's like it's that much better for me.
For
That much
me,
better.
the only reason that would be better
Is
is
it?
because I'm thinking, wow, she's the one.
Oh no,
I should wipe this one up.
nah, it
We could
wasn't like
do
that.
certain cool things.
I didn't
Like
see
she's
her
like
like
the
that. No.
homie, but she's a girl.
Yeah, I didn't see
She's a
her like that
keeper.
at all. Well, like I said, it wasn't a best friend thing. It was just like a good friend that I knew that felt a certain way about me. And it could have been, and maybe it was my fault because maybe I might have took advantage of that because I knew she felt a certain way about me and I knew she would do whatever to kind of impress me in a way. And I was just like, oh yeah, cool. Let me see how long I could drag this out. So it could have been that, now that I'm thinking about it. But it was literally, for me, just a friendship thing. It was nothing serious. For her, it might have been different. And maybe that's why she didn't really communicate it with me about, her being with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but at the end of the day, I respected it. I was like, this is probably her best decision because if I'm still in the picture, it might cause some issue, which let's not get into that. Anyways, so I was like, you know what? If I stay in the picture, it might cause some issue between their relationship. And now they're happily married. I'm happy for them both. I was actually invited to their wedding and everything, and it was fun. It was cool, but I do miss that friendship that we had. As a guy, for me, I should only speak for myself. As a guy, if a girl's in a relationship, I definitely step off because I know how guys are. I know how they get jealous, and I don't know the guy.
Absolutely.
So I would definitely step off.
That's why I stepped off and wrote a poem about her. Nah, again, that one was, I should have seen that coming. So, I mean, again, she was already in a relationship when I met her. So that's another weird offhand situation, but whatever. So I think we both probably agree then that there should be certain boundaries with just regular friends, acquaintances, and the best friend thing is questionable, and the best friend should, on either side, should probably step off. Just before we get to the last point, which is new friends, question mark. I think about one very cool homegirl. I call them one of my best friends. If I have like say 2 or 3 best friends that are girls. And anytime I get out of a relationship, she's just there waiting to roast my behind because she's and it's only happened like twice. It actually only happened. Yeah, it only happened twice. And a few other times was when I was just, getting my Mac on or whatever. And she says, I feel like she's exaggerating. You know who you are. But I feel like she's exaggerating, but she says that anytime Finesse, and she actually gave me that nickname. Anytime Finesse goes ghost, I know that there's a chick involved. And I hate that stereotype put on me because I actually, I do value building my friendships, my relationships, people. Like, everybody knows that if I'm for you, I'm for you. If it's not, let's not do no fake acquaintance stuff. I'm very polarizing. Either it's we bout this, we're cool homies, or we're not at all. Let's not just fill the numbers or whatever. So for her, she would always say like, "Yep." As soon as I could always tell when you got one coming or whatever, because you get ghosts and stuff. So when I have a situation like that, it's kind of hard for me to say, "All right, I'm gonna just put her away," because obviously our friendship means something, and she has been there before that relationship that I got into and after. So who would I be to have totally X'd her out and throw her away, and then to be coming back crawling to her for her best friendship or a shoulder to lean on. It would be kind of like, oh, now you want to come holler at me, and she still hits me with that too. Like, oh, now you're showing up more often. Things must not have worked out, huh? What's going on? She crack jokes all day. So that's just my little piece where that's concerned. So I have a question then. So you're in a relationship with a girl, or a girl is in a relationship with you.
All right.
I guess that's the same thing. How do you feel about new friends of the opposite sex?
There's no friends, man. Before I even get into that, it's so funny how people, I feel like friendship, like the word friend is one of those words and that have lost its true meaning, right? Like certain words like no, Friend, I guess love. Those.
You had me on no, but go ahead.
Yeah, like you don't really know somebody, but people are like, yeah, I
Oh,
know him.
that no. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
not
Go ahead.
N-O.
Sorry.
Oh, you think I'm
Sorry.
talking about N-O?
Sorry. Don't even entertain it. Keep
I
moving.
guess. Now that you bring it up, I guess that has lost its meaning as well.
Don't even entertain it. Keep it moving.
Ah, man, that's funny. But yeah, so you have two no's. Let's get into that first. Anyways, yeah, so friends,
Certain
friend,
words have lost their meaning.
friend is one of those words that has totally lost its meaning, I think, because people are willing to call each other friends just from meeting them at a certain place, not even knowing that person, right? Not even knowing that person and really truly build a relationship with that person, but just because they went to school with that person, or I met a guy at church, and because now I met this guy at church, all of a sudden, and the only time that we actually see each other is at church, and we never hung out outside of church. He's classified as a friend, and I don't think it should be like that at all.
Okay.
Same as school or and I think you could touch on this because like a lot of people are willing, or quick to make friends at work. Really, they're not your friend. They're just your coworkers because all you know is that one side of that person, which is their profession, their work life. You don't know anything about them, and you might think you know, but you really don't know that person. And so, as far as new friends, I definitely put a halt into that. I don't think there's there's such thing as new friends. If you're in a relationship, there's no such thing. And now this could be debated as to, well, if I'm at a party with my homegirl, I mean with my girlfriend, or at a party with my boyfriend, and then we run into this other couple, and they invite us to like a dinner, and we build a relationship from there. That's possible, but as like a single guy, or you, the girl, being in a relationship and meeting a single guy and building a relationship, a friendship, with him, or me being a guy building a friendship with a girl that's single, um, I think that's crossing the line. I think that's definitely crossing the line because it almost seems like if I'm still searching, like if I don't have everything in line with what I have already, there's no need for me to be in a relationship because who's to say that the person that I meet out on the street, or the person that I trying to build a relationship with or friendship with is not gonna take that spot away from the current girlfriend that I have,
or that you're gonna give her that spot.
Maybe.
All right. So just touching on that point about friends and the word being used loosely. Yeah. So the statement, quote, quote, oh, they are just a friend, is almost, it really doesn't have anything to do with friendship. It's basically what you're saying. The translation for just a friend is, oh, this person and I are just platonic, or oh, this person and we're not romantically involved or romantically interested. When we like, oh, that's just a friend, as opposed to it actually being a friend.
Yeah, and I think social media plays a big part in there as well. Do you not? Because if you think about it, we have how many numbers of friends in Facebook or Instagram, but really they're not really your friend, because
that's a good point too.
A friend is somebody that I sit here and talk to, like I'm talking to you, right? Some friends somebody that could really pick up the phone and ask them for advice, confide in, kind of thing. And a lot of people, well, just because I added them on Facebook or just because I added them on Instagram, oh yeah, that's my friend. And because we're carrying a conversation through the interweb, that means that they're my friend. No, it doesn't mean anything. Just because you guys are internet friends, or
it's true. That makes a lot of sense.
That's the funny thing, right? Not even to say you guys are internet friends. Now that I'm saying that, it's so funny because the way they categorize it in social media, right? So on Facebook, it's a friends list, but really it's not, right?
Right.
It's not a friends list. It's a
No, it's not.
network of people that just follow each other.
Right. No, that makes total sense because it's funny. Just the other day, like 3 days ago, I was getting on the subway and this guy was getting off the subway. And I recognized him because he added me on Facebook. Obviously, he added me as a friend
Yeah,
on Facebook. So he must be a friend, right?
he's the
But
homie.
right, he's the homie. He added me on Facebook, and I recognized him because I'm very good with faces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all right with names, depending on who it is, and if I focus, I'm good with names. But I'm excellent with faces. I don't forget faces.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know how you could forget my face. You know, I got a beard. But yeah, so as he was coming off the subway, he didn't recognize me, and I didn't initiate it. I didn't add him as a friend. Maybe he added it for whatever political reasons, but he added me as a friend, and he didn't recognize me, and I wasn't about to be like, "Hey, we're friends on Facebook." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, you make a great point. Like social media playing a big role in it, watering down the meaning of what a friend is. All right, so with that said, then so all right, what about actual new friends do of the opposite sex? So forget person at work. How do you feel about you developing new friendships with girls while you're in a relationship with your girlfriend
That are single, right?
that are single?
Yeah, I think I touched on that. I said, I don't believe in that at all because um I I think me doing that is almost not saying that it's 100%, but it shows that I'm out there putting myself out on the market and that I'm searching for something almost.
Mm,
That's what it almost, if I have a girlfriend and if I have a circle, a strong support system around me, there's no need for me to go outside of that. As we get older, this is how I think.
mm,
And as I get older, I don't think it's hard to actually find true people out there. No, I don't think I should be going out and meeting somebody. No,
okay.
or somebody new, I should say. No, I don't
While
think
in
I
a
should find.
relationship with
Yeah,
somebody. Gotcha. All right. All right. And you feel the same way from your girlfriend's standpoint with her having new guy
for
friends?
sure. What about you? You're asking me all these questions, and to Mr. Interrogator. How about you? How do you feel about it?
Everybody should love and just be free.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
no, I
So
feel the
you catch
same way.
AIDS.
No new friends, no new friends. Straight up, just like that Drake song, no new friends. Um, I feel like I'm more willing to be down with the friends who came prior. So three levels, right? So if you have friends of the opposite sex that you had prior to me, cool. If they're, friends that you're cool with, cool. If they're a best friend, questionable, case by case basis. We'll talk about that. We'll dissect that. We'll see how close y'all are and what y'all history is. But if it's a new friend, if now you're in a relationship with me, well then there's two sides to this. If you're in a relationship with me and now you're thinking about developing new friendships, I'm not with it with guy friends, because then in fact I'm not with it to a certain extent with certain homegirls, because again she could sabotage your thing if she's that single girl who isn't really about that life of
Hmm.
getting her own man and whatnot. Misery loves company. She's single. Maybe it's not misery for her, so I won't blanket everybody on that. But maybe in some cases, it's all these dudes out here ain't ish. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
right.
saying? So you know how that go.
I
That
know,
could
bro.
spew over. So just thinking about two sides to this book now. If you already have homegirls, you and I, you've already built those relationships. So now what you have left you are pouring into your new relationship with your girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever. And eventually you'll probably take away some of the attention that you give to your older friends. However, if you're in a relationship now with your spouse, in order to develop a new friendship, you got to take away attention from that spouse to pour into this person. So that I'm not with.
Yeah.
Because in order to even call them friend, you have to invest in them. Right. You have to put in work. And it's like how you have that kind of energy to put into this other person, you should be putting that into what you already have going on. So for me, both sides, I'm not with no new friends of the opposite sex for myself or for her.
Oh, another thing too, building a friendship of the opposite sex while still being in a relationship. It's weird, right?
That's that backup plan, baby.
Well, it's not even that, because first of all, how did he approach you? How did you approach him? I want to know all of that. First of all, what got you guys to talk in the first place? And there's a level of infatuation that people tend to feel of by saying something new, like just because you know, hey, I have this girl that I just met, even though she's just a friend, I'm all of a sudden thinking about, man, what would she look like wearing this, that, and the third. And so that's why I don't want, I don't think it should go there.
She's super duper fly. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll put it out there to other people. But yeah, so it sounds like no new friends if you're already in a relationship. Respect your boundaries with your current friends of the opposite sex, and it definitely should be cut off if you and them have certain level of history, romance that happened, or any of that stuff. And yeah, the best friend, the best bestie, the BFF should definitely be brought into question and probably cut off if he is of the opposite sex, and if they're of the same sex but maybe single, or of the same sex and homosexual.
Ooh, touche. Oh, man, I guess this is it for the podcast.
It is.
We'll see you guys later.
I just like to say bye to all my new friends out there.
Finesse, Rebel, Man Who Well podcast. Peace.
We out.